So I'm like, what's going on here? Why they play my stuff? Let's try it one more time. All right. I don't know what's going on. But we in this thing. What's good? You are now watching Juke Boy Sports Show. I'm your host, Kyng Ralph, here for another good show. Hope everybody having a happy Friday and doing good out there in TV land. I'm excited for this show. Trade deadline, Hall of Fame announced, Josh Allen announced his MVP, Super Bowl prediction. Let's get to it. But before we do, you know how we always get done. You want to do a podcast like what you're watching, music video, photo shoot, call the number on the bottom of the screen, 707 Fit Boxer. And if you're looking for a clean, jitterless, no crash energy drink, just get on your phone, laptop, iPad, all that good stuff. Type in dubby.com, w.com. Use promo code JUKE, J-U-K, for 20% off. And then if you're here on YouTube, just hit that subscribe button. If you're here on Facebook, you're most likely here on the He Say, She Say channel. Go in that search bar, type Juke Network, J-U-K Network. It's the same name on YouTube as well. Subscribe at Juke Network on YouTube. Like or follow the Facebook page. Once I get to 100 followers, I will be able to go live straight from that page, moving things over from that He Say, She Say channel all the way over to the Juke Network. You can follow us on Instagram as well for updates, clips, and all of that good stuff at Juke Sports Show. And then follow me at KYNG, RALPH, TikTok while it's here, Instagram, Twitch. Trying to become a Twitch affiliate by the end of the year. And then if you're on X or Twitter, at an _. And so Josh Allen wins the MVP. Was Lamar robbed? And this is the thing, man. It's like, as much as you want to enjoy Josh Allen, celebrate Josh Allen, and congratulate him, you can't not have the conversation of how Lamar should feel about what happened. Number one thing, the All-Pro voters are the same people that voted for the MVP. So Josh Allen was second-team All-Pro, with Lamar Jackson being first-team All-Pro. But somehow Josh Allen won the MVP and was more valuable to his team, but he wasn't the best quarterback this year. It just doesn't make sense to me. I feel like, yeah, I get it. At the end of the day, most people did not have Josh Allen or the Buffalo Bills getting as far as they got. I had the Buffalo Bills being in not the Super Bowl, but I had them being in the playoffs. I had the Jets winning the division, but I thought that I thought the Dolphins would not make the playoffs. I had the Jets winning the division, and I had Josh Allen and the Bills getting into the playoffs, with Josh Allen being the MVP this year. I thought that, given the opportunity that he would get to show with less, to do a lot with less, with his only real weapon is James Cook. Dalton Kincaid is a really good tight end, but he's not of the – I feel like James Cook is a top 5, if not top 7 running back or person at his position, where Dalton Kincaid may or may not be in that conversation as a top 5 at his position. So I get what Josh Allen was able to do, doing a lot with less. But for me personally, I just don't think that he did so much more with less than Lamar. So that's why I'm just like, where did this come from? And I hate the whole idea, let's celebrate Josh and not talk about Lamar. Fuck all that. Because this was a perfect year where they could have went co-MVP, because Lamar did things that only 3 people had done, if not be the first person to ever do it. Now, he was the first person with over 4,000 yards passing and over 900 yards rushing. He had over 5,000 yards in total offense. I think he had 40 touchdowns this year, 4 interceptions. it's just certain things that he was able to do that he was just on another planet at the position that he plays. So to give it to a person that is just not doing what he was able to do, I just don't like it. And so to get into it, man, I hate it for him, but congrats to Josh Allen. They do need to kind of reconsider this award because it's kind of getting to a point where it doesn't really matter what you do. If you're not quarterback, you're not winning. Where Saquon has a real legit right why he's not even being considered in this conversation. Joe Burrow being in this conversation with he didn't make the playoffs. He got votes, and Saquon should have got it. Should have just been a 3-man race. There really shouldn't have been a fourth person getting votes. And so, like I mentioned before, NFL announces. Hold on real quick. NFL announces. Yeah, the NFL announces the Hall of Fame, and so we got Eric Allen, Antonio Gates, my boy Jared Allen, and Sterling Shepard. Just want to give a special shout out to all of them individually. Antonio Gates, what he was able to do for that before they became the Los Angeles Chargers. One of the greatest tight ends of all time. He kind of ushered in with Tony Gonzalez being the first, but being a major component of a big body basketball player that can transfer over to the football field. 116 touchdowns, almost 1,000 receptions, almost 12,000 yards, 5-time All-Pro, 3 of those being first team. And these are the conversations that we got to have when we start to have these conversations about Hall of Fame. I feel like too often we go with like a feeling or someone that we just enjoyed, but how can you be in the Hall of Fame if you were never really the best player at your position for a multiple year thing? Or even within the top 3, because there's some positions that, as far as like all pro, where you get 2 or 3 people from that position. Now, ultimately, quarterbacks is one of those ones where, like Eli Manning, for example, like, how are we going to have this conversation about him? And he was never not even let alone first or second team All Pro. He was never a top 5 at his position. I don't care how many Super Bowls he won. How are you Hall of Fame if you were never a top 5 quarterback at any point in your career? So that's where, for me, it's like, yeah, I'll give him credit to a certain degree. He was a good player, but when it comes to being immortalized in that with that bronze Hall of Fame gold jacket, like, I just don't agree with that. And so, shout out to Eric Allen. Eric Allen, I'm kind of surprised a little bit that he got inducted in. And I do think he was a really good corner. 54 interceptions, 8 pick sixes, 3-time All-Pro, one of which was a first team. But when you play in an era that had, what was my man's name? Darryl Green, Rod Woodson, Deion Sanders, it's going to be kind of hard. Then later in his career, he played alongside Charles Woodson. Like, it's going to be a little harder for you to be able to get these opportunities because of the greatness of some of these other people that played at your same position. And so I do think that given that he had three of those um, All Pros, two of which were second team, one was first team All Pro, and then six-time Pro Bowler. I feel like that's the one where the Pro Bowl has become a little bit of a popularity contest. It's not the same game, but given in which the time that he played, late '80s to the early 2000s, that was a time where it was a thing to be. It was a legit accolade to be in the Pro Bowl. So shout out to him. I think the one I'm most excited for I was definitely surprised, given that he's had ample opportunity and still just never got in, is Sterling Sharp. You know how much of a big fan I am of his brother as a football player and even now being a sports media guy. But Sterling Sharp is one of those players where, like, when you look at other people that have got in, if you're not going to put them in, I understand why you hold him back. Given that Calvin Johnson got in after a 9-year career, and Sterling Sharp had the same length of career, if not maybe 1 or 2 years shorter. But what he was doing year after year was nothing short of phenomenal. Like 3-time first team All Pro, 5-time Pro Bowler. His last year, he had 18 touchdowns. And I just feel like what he was able to do at his peak, now his career was cut short due to a neck injury, but there was no reason. And then eventually, if he would have stayed healthy, he would have been able to play in those Super Bowls against the Broncos. He would have been able to play in those Super Bowls against against the Patriots. And so I just feel like he didn't really get a real opportunity to really be. There wasn't too many people that could have rivaled Jerry Rice, but he was just as good at Jerry Rice as at his peak. And so Jared Allen, I talk about him a lot. I feel like when it comes to just an edge rusher, pass rusher, the ability to get after the quarterback, I'm not surprised at all him getting into the Hall. I do feel like what he was able to do for all pro teams was the best at his position for a 4 or 5 year period, or if not the second best. He should have been. There was one year he had 22 sacks. He should have got the Defensive Player of the Year award. They gave it to T. Sizzle, Terrell Suggs, who I believe is up for Hall of Fame next year. 136 sacks in total, 32 forced fumbles, 5-time Pro Bowler. So for a 5-year period, he was, if not the best, the second best edge rusher at his position, and he was a baller, bro. So shout out to them, man. I'm excited for all of them. I am happy with, because there's a level to it. Being just a Hall of Famer versus being a first ballot Hall of Famer, they're just two different things. There's levels to it. Shannon Sharp said it earlier. It's the same house, but there's different rooms. And so, given that some of them got an opportunity to be first ballot Hall of Famers versus just being just getting in the Hall of Fame, is why I'm okay with like the Luke Kuechly's, the Eli Mannings, being two of which that did not make it. Dang, I think I might have messed up, and I didn't change these topics. Hold up. All right, come on. All right. And then next up, we got the winners of the trade deadline. There's been some big ones. I talked about it. Earlier in the week, Luka gone to the Lakers, Anthony Davis to the Mavs, De'Aaron Fox goes to the Spurs, Zach LaVine goes to the Kings. Brandon Ingram goes to the Raptors. Jimmy Butler goes to the Warriors. So first off, I'm gonna go All right, sorry about that, y'all. I don't know what happened. Laptop just froze up on you, boy. But let's finish up. Finish up strong. So, some losers of the trade deadline. Like I said, I don't necessarily think that the Mavs are a loser in this trade. I do think they're they have a 2 to 3 year window of being able to contend for a title. That with Luka's shortcomings on the defensive end, I don't blame them for not wanting to go at it with them. The only thing is, I probably would have gave it another 2 years, let it get out to like 27 before I blew up things. In the end, I do think that the Sacramento Kings are a loser in this trade. I think at some point as an organization, you gotta look at you had an opportunity to draft Luka, you drafted Marvin Bagley. You had an opportunity to keep Tyrese Halliburton, and look what he's doing with the Pacers. You had an opportunity to keep De'Aaron Fox, and look at what you did. You had to pretty much trade him. You trade Tyrese Halliburton for De'Aaron Fox so you can keep him, and then you end up trading him anyway, so you lose out on both. And I just think that some of the issues with the organization back in the early 2010s, they just kept drafting bigs. You drafted Hassan Whiteside, um, you drafted DeMarcus Cousins. You draft another big. Then at that one point, you just kept drafting twos and threes. Where you drafted Rudy Gay, you drafted Tyree Evans, you drafted what was my boy from Michigan. Like you just keep drafting the same position to the point where, and then you never have any of them. At some point, you're just a bad organization. You got to pay attention to what these issues are in order to be able to really truly fix them. And that's the part for me that's a little like alarming, and why I would say that the Sacramento Kings, in the end, I feel like they lost this trade, although they got some good pieces out of it. And so with the 2 minute drill I got left, first off, I just want to say, hey, let me talk my shit, because sitting here and thinking about it, I did predictions at the beginning of the year, and I predicted all of the winners of each division in the NFL. I did offensive rookie of the year, defensive rookie of the year, offensive player of the year, defensive player of the year, coach of the year, MVP, and Super Bowl winners. Now, if I had to say there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, I'm at about a 50% here, because I said that the Lions would win their division, the Eagles would win their division, the Chiefs would win their division, Texans would win their division. I picked Jaden Daniels to win Rookie of the Year, Jared Verse to be the defensive Rookie of the Year. Now, I had Justin Jefferson and Max Crosby as offensive and defensive player of the year. It didn't quite work out. I did predict Josh Allen, given the lack of talent he had on his team. If he can get his team to the playoffs, and they ended up being a high seed in the playoffs, it worked out in his favor. And then my Super Bowl matchup, I had the Ravens and Lions, and both of which lost in the second round. And so some stuff I know what I'm talking about. There's some things I didn't foresee. I did not foresee Jared Goff throwing as many picks. I did not foresee Lamar Jackson throwing as many picks. He went through the season, never had a game where he had 2 turnovers in the game and chose to do it in the wrong at the wrong time. Mark Andrews drops the pass. The rest is history. So just want to say, sometimes I know what I'm talking about. I know a little bit about a little bit. And then next up, Max Crosby was on a podcast in which he says, let me pull up the quote. I don't want to join the damn Chiefs and get a Super Bowl. It means nothing to me if that happens. And so pretty much in essence, he's talking about the likelihood of him, where he's at in life. Myles Garrett, right now, i.e. I talked about him earlier in the week. Myles Garrett, 29, in his prime, does not feel like he can win with the Cleveland Browns. Now he wants to go and he's playing. He requested a trade. Max Crosby, 6 years in, one of the best edge rushers, defensive ends, defensive players in football right now, playing for the Las Vegas Raiders, who are now trying to establish a culture. I don't blame him for wanting to be loyal to the soil, but at some point as a competitor, I don't blame him if he did get to the point. Now, this is the point of what I brought up earlier with Luka, where, all right, how old is he? So it's like he's 27 years old. So I feel like we got another year or two to really establish something here before. I don't blame him for requesting a trade and trying to seek trying to go and win a championship somewhere. With the way that it gets looked at, I just don't think that I don't blame him for it. I think that what he's been able to do for the team that we have, being the one bright spot on defense since he's been in the league, is nothing short of phenomenal. What he's been able to do. I had him going being the defensive player of the year. Now we get Pete Carroll. We bring back the defensive coordinator, someone that he liked playing for. Hopefully we can keep him on the team and finally build something out here. But I don't blame him if he eventually gets to the point where he's like, yeah, get me out of here, y'all. It's been a nice run. And so he'll turn 28 in August, which for me, I feel like we got like 1 or 2 seasons to really show him that we got something here. And so Damian Lillard talked about he is now in the three-point contest, and he is going for a three-peat. Let's see, who are the participants? So we got Jalen Brunson, Cade Cunningham, Darius Garland, Tyler Hero, Buddy Hield, Kim Johnson, and Dame Lillard. Honestly, I think that he could win. I think that he will. I think that he should be the favorite going into it. What he's been able to do, how cool and calm he is, knowing what it takes to win. I think that he should be the favorite. I do think Jalen Brunson, and I think for me, Cam Johnson would be my dark horse. But I think Dame should definitely be the favorite. And so with all of that, the prediction. Who's winning the Super Bowl, Ralph? I'm going to go Eagles, man. I think in the end, they've been here before. Now, I get it. It's whatever. If you want to talk about refs, if you want to talk about the opportunity that the Chiefs have been here, done that. Spags and the Hall of Fame defensive coordinator that he is, Andy Reid in the offensive mind. Mahomes is just different. But I do think that the way that the defense for the Eagles is constructed, while the offense and how they play, Spags is going to make it to where, yeah, he's going to do what I thought the Commanders should have done. Sorry about that, y'all. He's going to do exactly what I thought the Commanders should have done. Make sure that Saquon is not beating you, at least from a running the football standpoint. Now, if he's a weapon, catching screen passes, he can go play in the slot, go out wide, run routes. Now, that's a whole nother thing that you necessarily can't really game plan for. But when it comes to the X factor, at the end of the day, it's going to be Jalen Hurts. And the first Super Bowl that they played, Jalen Hurts was balling. Now, if he doesn't have that random-ass fumble, then we're having a different conversation here. And it took the Chiefs to have the ball for 5 minutes in the fourth quarter to really be able to solidify that Super Bowl win. So, in the end, I think that the weapons that the Eagles have now, they have a better opportunity, different game plans, obviously. The teams are different and built different now. But Jalen Hurts has showed that in big games, he can ball out. And so as long as he doesn't have turnovers or play loose with the football, I can see the Eagles winning. I got the Eagles winning. I'm going to say 28-31. Eagles get a victory, and the Chiefs fall short of their three-peat. Sorry for the issues I was having. My laptop froze up. But while you're here, if you're here, hit that subscribe button, follow, like, comment, share, all that good stuff. I appreciate you all for being here. Happy Friday, everybody. Stay blessed. And yeah, stay tuned. I'm out.